What's up, gamers? Batman Arkham Shadow dropped early on the MetaQuest 3. I can't believe it. I was on X last night and saw that the developer said, it was coming out tomorrow, and I commented on it and said, I set my alarm for the exact time it was supposed to drop. And then I was scrolling down through some of the other comments, and some people were saying, I'm playing it right now. And I was like, how'd they get it right now? And I just assumed that it was people who had bought maybe the new MetaQuest 3S or a new Quest 3. It's packaged in with those systems right now. And so I thought maybe they just, it was an accident. They got it early because it came free with those devices. And if you're interested in getting it for free and don't have a Quest, hey, I have affiliate links in the description below. You can help support my family and get the game for free, as well as $30 free in-store credit to get a different game for free, and 3 months of MetaQuest Plus, which is like another dozen games or something right off the bat. It's a great deal, costs you nothing extra, and you'd help support me and my family. Thank you. But back to Batman, I was a little bit, for a moment, jealous that other people were getting to play it and I wasn't, because I've been anticipating this game for months and months and months. I'm so excited. Batman has been my favorite superhero since I was like 4 or 5 years old, and the Arkham games are some of my favorite games of all time, so I could not wait to play this. I mean, I couldn't even believe it when it was announced. But then I got a reply from Camouflage that said it should have gone off. Time for justice. And I was like, what? So I went to the Quest store and there it was, finally available. Purchased it, downloaded it immediately. I launched the game. This is just a first impressions video, but I played about 3 hours of it last night. And listen, when you put on that headset, you become Batman. And they have said previously, you're gonna see, like, your shadow will be Batman with the ears and the cape and the cowl. And when the game starts and you're Batman, you hear his voice, like you're speaking and Alfred's in your ear. I was just looking around and I looked down and there's the shadow. I literally gasped. I did not expect to have any kind of audible reaction to seeing the shadow, but I did, and it was involuntary. It was like, oh my goodness, I am Batman. In case you can't tell, I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy with the game so far. I think the story is really good so far. It has a few very short cinematic cutscenes that are just that have voiceovers over them. Basically, most of the story happens in game, where you are talking to characters, and a lot of it happens between you and Alfred or other people that might be talking to you in your earpiece. Again, no spoilers. The game looks great. I think it's one of the most visually impressive games that I've played on Quest 3. Yeah, it's not going to look as good as PC VR games. This is a mobile chip on a wireless headset, so you don't need to expect miracles or anything. I think they could have made this bigger than 19 gigabytes and added some better textures on certain surfaces and whatnot, and maybe they will moving forward in the future as they patch this, because there are some bugs still. There were some times where, for instance, there was a character I was following and they walked right into a door and they just kind of kept walking, but they were not moving forward because the door was closed. The door was supposed to have opened and it didn't. Now, after several seconds, it did open and they continued on through the door, and the game didn't crash or anything. I've heard some people say that the game crashes on them. I played for 3 hours and I did not have a single crash, but there were some bugs that I noticed, and some of it was audio stuttering. Some of the scenes, especially if it was kind of walking you through some dialogue as it was loading you into the next area or whatever, and especially in one specific part. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything because it would be a spoiler. There was a lot of audio stuttering and even some minor frame rate drops, but in my opinion, there was nothing that happened that was game breaking in any way. And all of the little bugs that I noticed, I think all of them can be fixed in future updates pretty easily. I would expect over the next 3 to 5 months for this game to basically be perfect. And I think Camouflage is up to the task. I mean, they seem to really genuinely care about this franchise, about what they're doing. I've watched many interviews of Ryan Payton talking about this game, and some of the other people that worked on the game talking about the game, and all of them just seem so passionate. They seem to care about this, genuinely care about not just this game, but about Batman and the Arkham franchise. I hope they get to make a sequel to this. I hope they get to continue to build out the Arkham lore, because they have really set the bar for what the Quest 3 can do and what it should do. And not only have they set the bar for the Quest 3, but really for VR in general and what storytelling can be on it, and how good something like a superhero game can be on Quest. A lot of people are going to talk about the combat. The combat is so, I don't know the right word, like visceral. It is so, like, you feel powerful. There were a few times where I felt like it didn't quite register my input. Like I tried to punch this guy one time and it was supposed to be a hook and I hooked, but then it like hooked in front of his face instead of hitting him in the face. And so like there are a couple times like that where it was a little bit off, but for the most part, oh my goodness, I felt so strong. Like I felt like Batman. And it's so different from a flat screen Arkham game because everything is like in your face. Like these henchmen or these cultists in the game, like they are right in your face, life size. It's not just like a third person camera view where you're looking down and you see all the guys around Batman. No, you're pretty much looking at the guy in front of you who is in your face, and then you have to make sure that when the prompts show up to block, that you block, because otherwise there's a guy coming at you from the side that you can't see, and he's going to punch you and you're going to take damage. You know, like in the flat screen Arkham games, a lot of times you'll block and you'll catch somebody's leg and then you'll punch their leg and knock them out. You do that in the game and it feels so good. It's just truly something that you have to experience. It's really hard to explain. And I wish I had captured more footage last night to overlay over this video, because there were so many moments that I think would have helped, you know, explain what I'm talking about. But I also didn't want to spoil anything, and I kind of just wanted to enjoy it without thinking about it from a YouTuber's perspective. So I only captured a few minutes of gameplay footage. And another thing about the combat is that just like in the Arkham games, it's not like a button masher. It's always been no, you wait for the right timing to punch or to block. And that's very much the case in this game as well. And a lot of times as the adrenaline would start pumping, I would want to just keep throwing punches and I would miss, because it will prompt you to do like a hook or maybe an uppercut or like some quick jabs, like a 1, 2, 3. Maybe you need to pound both of your fists down on them or whatever. If you don't wait for the prompt and do it right, then you'll miss. And I did that so many times because I would just be like in mid punch because I would get so excited, and then the prompt would come up and be like, no, it's supposed to be a hook, and then it wouldn't count it. So you have to study your opponent, you have to wait for their moves and respond appropriately. And I think that might be the hardest part of the game for me so far. When you do it right, it's just like, oh man, it's just really rewarding. And I don't even say that as a Batman fan. I say that as someone who has found VR to be a refreshing and reinvigorating change of pace as a longtime gamer. The detective vision stuff is really good, like the little puzzles you have to solve, and the Easter eggs in this game. Oh my goodness. It seems like everywhere you look, there's an Easter egg, and it is delightful. I mean, just absolutely delightful. I love seeing all the little references to things in Batman lore just scattered throughout this world. They just continue to impress. Oh, it's just so many things to talk about. It's just such an Arkham experience. Like, it's astounding that they were able to translate this into VR, something that a lot of us are very familiar with. We've played these games for years, and now here they are in a first-person view, and I'm the one throwing the punches. I'm the one looking around and deciphering the clues. I am Batman, and I don't think that there's any better way to praise this game. They have studied the Arkhamverse and translated it into VR with an original story, an intriguing story, in a way that I don't know if there's any other developer that could have done it. And so I have to say that I think this is the top contender for Game of the Year in VR gaming, and there's a lot of good VR games in 2024. I am going to do a full review once I'm done, but as of right now, here on day one, I cannot recommend this game enough. So if you haven't purchased it yet, again, you can help support my family by using the affiliate link in the description below. I really don't think you'll regret the game at all. It's already had some twists that I didn't see coming in just the first 3 hours. So, you know, I dug out the old Batman t-shirt that I haven't worn in years because it's too small for me. And here I am just gushing over this game because I think you need to play it. It's just so freaking good. You're the freaking Bat. Go be the Knight.